Welcome to a Mid-American Energy wind farm. A wind farm is a power plant that uses the energy contained in prevailing winds to generate electricity. Humans have harnessed the power of the wind for thousands of years. The earliest known use of wind power was the sailboat. Approximately 5,000 years ago in Egypt, boats with sails traveled up and down the Nile River. Several thousand years later, in Persia, wind energy was used to power vertical axis windmills for labor-intensive tasks like grinding grain. In Western Europe, the windmill evolved from a vertical axis to a more efficient horizontal axis configuration. Later, the Dutch modified the windmill to pump water and reclaim much of Holland from the sea. The multi-vane farm windmill was invented in the United States during the latter half of the 19th century. This familiar rural windmill was used for pumping groundwater in small quantities to livestock water tanks. In the 1930s and 40s, electricity-producing wind turbines were built in the U.S. to provide electricity to farms beyond the reach of power lines. By the early 1950s, however, the extension of the central power grid to nearly every American household made these wind turbines unnecessary. A new market for wind systems, or wind farms, began in the early 1980s, as climbing oil prices in the 70s and a new federal law encouraged the use of alternative power sources. As the cost of wind technology becomes less expensive, areas such as the Great Plains, Midwest, Pacific Northwest, and Northeast are now beginning to see greater wind farm development.